Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my April 2021 book haul. So, I did better this month compared to last month. I was still maybe not as low as it should have been, but I did let myself buy a few books on Independent Bookstore Day, which was on April 24th. So I bought a few more books then that wasn't in my calculations, but still, I think I did okay. I bought 13. So, not too bad. Could have been better, but I'm working on it. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through them. There's kind of a wide range of different ones. So I will first start with the ones I bought used at Barely Read Bookstore, which is over in Gresham here in Oregon. So the first one I picked up was Devices and Desires. An Irresistible Tale of Corruption, Betrayal, and Revenge by K.J. Parker. Sorry, my brain just froze. And the car is distracting me. So this is a book that I wanted to try. I had it on my list to try. I have not read anything by K.J. Parker. I do have another book by him on my shelf, but I think he has another writing name. Was he Tom Holt? I can't remember. Anyway, so this is a book about a man who is an engineer who is sentenced to death, and so he runs, but he wants to have revenge because he had left his family behind. And so I think he kind of throws the whole country into turmoil with his revenge. And I'm not quite sure. I think there's 3 books that are kind of this size. So I wanted to try this one. Again, this copy is the most beat up of all the ones I got. It's kind of messed up. But I figured I wanted to try this book, and I didn't want to buy it new because I wasn't quite sure on it. So, if I decide I really want it and I need a better copy, I can get one. If not, it's not that bad. Really, the pages and everything else look great. It's just really the front and back copy. And somebody tore the back page. Anyway, but it's just the copy. It's just the outside, so I should be okay, right? So, anyway, but let me know if you've read that, if that's good. I don't know. I've just seen it. I saw it briefly once, place. And then I bought this book used that I probably shouldn't have, but it's the 3rd book in the Moontide Quartet. This is by David Hare. This is Unholy War. I have the first one, Mage's Blood, on my TBR, and I've had it there for like 2 or 3 years. I think it was one of the first epic fantasy books that I bought off Book Depository because I couldn't get it here to have it, and I still haven't read it. So all I know about this series, again, is a 4-book series that has to do with, I think, a land where something opens up only at certain times to like a crossway between the two countries, and then I think they war every time it opens up or something. So I don't know really what this is about. Yes, Kitty, you are so adorable. So this is book 3, and I've heard good and bad things about this series. Like, I hear that, this might not be the best book of the series. I can't remember how it goes, and then it gets better at the end. I'm not sure, but anyway, I haven't even started the first one, but I found the 3rd one, and it's a perfect copy. So I was like, I can't leave that there. So maybe that'll make me pick up the first book here pretty soon. I don't know. I'll still have to get book 2. Anyway, yes, Cooper is being cute. You should all know that. Anyway, I then picked up a classic, The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So I have not read a lot of Nathaniel Hawthorne. Actually, it's one of those spots where I feel like I haven't read much of anything. I did read Rappuccinia's Daughter, short story, a few months ago. So, but this is a book that I picked up when I remember picking this up as a high schooler, and I was going to read it because again, I went through a period where I read a lot of classics that I didn't have to read for school, but that I had heard about them, and this was one of the ones I'd heard about, or I saw a cool copy at the library. I don't remember. And I know I read the beginning, and I just didn't get into it at the time, or something happened, and I don't have the book anymore. So I've been looking for a copy, and it's not, I mean, again, it's an older one of the Penguins, and it was just a fine copy, so I just got that. I don't know anything about it except it's about a family, and in the 1940s, and it's about social and moral things, but I think it has something to do with the house is spooky or some sort. I'm not quite sure. I don't actually remember, so I'm going to try that out. And then I also got Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. So this is the first book in the Seven Waters series. I don't know a whole lot about this. Like, I haven't looked into it. I just know a lot of people here on BookTube have been rediscovering her from, because again, I think these came out in the 90s. I'm not quite sure. Cooper's making it hard for me to do anything here. Oh no, it came out in 2000. Okay, so it came out a little early. Okay. But as I said, I've seen these for years, and I've just never picked one of her books up. So I've not tried any of her books. I've been wanting to, and everybody talks about this one being one of the best ones. So I want to at least try this book. Again, it has to do with a woman, I think it's Irish folklore. I'm not sure. She, I think her brothers are turned into swans, and she has to sew something and not speak or something to break the spell. I'm not quite sure. Actually, I have no idea. I'm going to go into that pretty blind. But I hear it's a really great fantasy, historical fantasy. So I really want to get to that one and try that. Then I got a couple of translated works. They're all Japanese ones. Are we surprised at all? No. The first one is At the End of the Matinee by Chiro Hirano. This is translated from the Japanese by Juliet Winters Carpenter. So this one has to do with two people who meet, a journalist and a classic guitarist, and they meet in, at a concert, and then it's like they have kind of a conversation that goes over years between them, and I'm not sure what actually happens between them anymore. Like, I don't remember what actually everything beyond that. So again, it's a contemporary. I did get this from Amazon Crossing. It's one of their publishing. I had saw it on Goodreads as a giveaway, and I didn't win that giveaway, but when I went to look to put it on my wish list there, I noticed that it was pretty cheap, so I just bought it. So anyway, hopefully that's good. I guess we'll find out. And then Pals, my independent bookstore that I go to quite a bit, had a sale on Japanese literature, or Japanese contemporary books, and one of them was Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. This was translated by, I can't remember. Oh, Cooper, you are just in my face. Translated from the Japanese by Sam Bett and David Boyd. So all I remember about this is about two sisters, and one of them has a daughter, and they have they're talking about different social issues with females and stuff, of different things. I can't remember beyond that. I know a lot of people read this last year when it came out. I really wanted it, but I didn't want to buy hardback. So again, it's a Europa edition, so I waited for paperback. So anyway, I'm hoping to get to that this year. Cat, okay. Cooper, down. Can't do anything. Anyway, and then this one I kind of picked up on a whim. I'd heard about it, but I haven't seen anybody read it. And that There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by Kiro, is that how you say that? Kiriko Sumura. So this is translated by Polly Barton. So this is one about a woman who I think she wants the easiest job, that she doesn't have to think or do anything. Or interact. I don't know. She has certain specifications that she wants to do, and then it talks about five of the jobs that she has, and they're all kind of weird. And as I said, it's like, I know one, she has to like watch some writer on surveillance or something. I don't remember. That's the only other thing I remember. I just remember they're weird things, but it's more of a commentary on having a job and doing the things that what you have to do to make a living. But I think also, it's kind of making fun of trying to get something that you don't, like a job you don't want. I don't know, actually, never mind. You guys, someone can tell me, but I said, I do want to get to this. It's one I did pick up kind of on a whim. So, but it was on sale, as I tell myself. The only nonfiction I picked up this month is a memoir, and that is On the Marsh, A Year Surrounded by Wilderness and Wet by Simon Barnes. So this is a man in England who I think either has land next to a marsh or something, and it's kind of his conservation efforts, I think. And then I can't remember much beyond that, but it's one talking about his family getting closer to nature too as well. So I don't remember, I saw this online somewhere last year, and I wanted it, but it was in hardback, and I was waiting for paperback, and my paperback pre-order got canceled last August, and I never figured out why that happened. And so then, but they must have moved the dates, and they just canceled my order. So, but I found it this last month. That it was coming out in paperback, so I bought it. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm hoping to read this for spring and fall, but we'll see. And then I have two historical fictions. One is The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow. So this is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice but from Mary's perspective. So Mary is the middle sister. So it talks about her early life, and then it'll go into the Pride and Prejudice side, and then it'll go beyond to her life beyond what happened in Pride and Prejudice. So I really enjoyed the beginning of this when I read it before lockdown, I believe is when it came out. I got it right away, but I turned it back in when I think right before we went, either that or it's a book that I had I'm pretty sure I turned it back in at that time. I don't remember. It was like right around that when it came out. So I wanted to read it, but at the time I wasn't ready for this book, and I was hoping to read it in July with Jane Austen in July. So this year I've decided to go with the paperback and try it. I really liked the beginning, but it was also kind of hard to read because poor Mary, it just sounds everybody's against her, which is so sad. So I don't know how this book is going to go, but I do want to read that. Because I love Jane Austen, mostly Pride and Prejudice retellings. I have quite a few for Jane Austen in July, so I'm hoping to get to that one. I also picked up The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. I picked this up on Independent Bookstore Day at Pals. It was on sale as well as on their spring sale. So I was like, I had to go in to get this. I picked this up finally because of Maria at MH Books just recently talked about it, and I was like, okay, that's it, we're done. I'm gonna go get this. So this has to do with a village in 1617 where all the men were lost at sea in Norway, and so the women are all that's left, and so they're they're in charge and stuff, and then a missionary comes there, and I think he thinks it's all the devil's work. So I don't know what actually happens or anything beyond that. I'm always a sucker for a Norway setting, and this just sounds interesting. So I'm hoping to get to this pretty soon since I just got it, but I'm hoping to like that. I did have one book in here that I have read before, which is Night Train to Murder by Simon R. Green. So this is book 8 in the Ishmael Jones series. So this is an urban fantasy series following Ishmael and his partner Penny, and they do supernatural cases. So they're like, how do I say it? British country manor mysteries with a supernatural twist is pretty much how I say it. So anyway, I've loved all these. I always wait for them to come out in paperback because they're so expensive as hardback. They're also very expensive paperbacks. The most expensive book I bought this month. But I will reread these because I have. I will probably, when the series finally ends, I will probably then reread them all because his books are just bingeable. I just love his urban fantasy. And then I picked up Soul Keeper by David Dalgleish. So this is a first book in a trilogy, a fantasy trilogy where there's a land where magic has suddenly come back in all the supernatural creatures. So the human race is in trouble. And this man is what is he called? He's called a soul keeper. So he's called a soul keeper. And he used to go around and kind of be a preacher and a healer. But then after everything starts happening, he now has to become a slayer of monsters and protector of the human race. So anyway, I've heard good things about this series, and I really, the third book just finally came out. So I got the first book so I could start that series. Another series, Amy. And then the last one is a pre-order I just got, which is The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is the fourth book in the Wayfarer series, which is kind of it's a sci-fi series, but more character-driven. They're pretty quiet and kind of light on the sci-fi part of it, but they're fun. And I really have liked all three of the other ones. I think my favorite still is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, but I like the other two as well. So I have no idea what this one's about. I have not even looked. I've not let myself look. I'm just going to go into this blind just because I like Becky Chambers, most of her stuff anyway. Especially this series, so I'm just gonna give that a shot. So those are the 13 books I bought in April. As I said, May's gonna be kind of high because it's my birthday month, and March was outrageous. So yeah, I did fairly well in April, right? Did you guys buy anything new recently? Let me know. Anything of these that you think I should pick up sooner rather than later? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.